Hello everybody, welcome back to Firefield Junction and welcome back to another review for you. Hope you've all had a very good Christmas, hope you got lots of new trains and had a great time with family and everything. And we're finally here back with what will be, well yeah, it probably will be the final video of 2024. I think we've certainly got a very special model for us today, and I think this will be the perfect model to look at to end the year and say goodbye to 2024. So as we can see today, it's by Hornby, as we can see, and it's the cross-country HST Farewell Class 43 train pack that we've got for us today. Now this particular pack, it wasn't actually announced by Hornby, whilst obviously Hornby are the ones that have actually produced it. This model was actually done exclusively for Key Publishing, as we can see there, and they're all part of Hornby magazine and everything. But it was done exclusively for them. They were the ones who actually announced it back in February of this year. It was around the weekend of Model Rail Scotland actually that they announced it, because I was actually up there on a Class 158 to Wick at the time, actually doing the Wick branch, because I had never done it before. I was up on that and was just looking online and saw that they had announced this. So immediately put a pre-order in before they sold out, because they have not done very many of these at all, and they have all sold out now, by the way. So unfortunately getting hold of one of these probably will be very, very difficult if you haven't got one but still want one. But I believe it was at the time, if I'm correct, it was they've only done 200 of the DCC ready versions, and then 150 of the sound fitted versions, which are sound fitted with the new Hornby HM7000 Bluetooth decoders. Something like that. It could have been the other way around, but I'm pretty sure it was probably that way around. So only 350 of these in total, so really not very many produced at all. Which, to be honest, though, with how much these were, the price of these, personally, I don't think was actually overly bad. Still maybe a little bit much, maybe, I think, for a model like this. Even though it's not a bad model or anything, still certainly the price I think could have been worse. Because at the time, when these were announced, the RRP for the DCC ready versions from Key Publishing was £359.99, and for the sound fitted versions with the Bluetooth decoders it was £399.99, and that's certainly not too bad. At the time, the RRP of a HST from Hornby, just in general, was certainly for the DCC ready versions only a few pounds more than that. So that at the time these were actually only a few pounds less than a bog standard release from Hornby, so that's not bad going, I think, in my opinion. Obviously since then the prices have gone up and they cost a lot more now, and especially I think the DCC ready versions, I think even then they probably could have been almost into bargain territory. Certainly I think £400 for a sound fitted HSC, and that's RRP. Certainly I don't think it was too bad at all. But yeah, overall, price out of the way, yeah, not too bad, I think. It's very, very nice that we finally got them out. Only sort of come out about a week ago now or so. So it's very, very nice that we finally got them. And the power cars do actually get in this set, so might as well actually talk about them. As you can see, the motorised unit is 43184, and it's a very, very striking Intercity executive livery that it was painted in 2023, and it was also named, I can't remember if it was named straight away, but it's named Lara Diesel Depot, which is very, very nice. And then the other power car that we've got is 43366 in just the standard cross-country livery, and that one is named HST40. So a very, very nice set of power cars here. Obviously there were more celebrity power cars from cross-country later on, towards the end of their service. Obviously they did 007 and 008, obviously 007 being in the original BR Blue, and 008 being in the executive in the Swallow livery. But obviously those were done exclusively actually for the farewell of the cross-country HSTs. This was done much longer before that. So this one was actually around for sort of a good year before cross-country actually retired these, which was quite nice. And luckily I did get to see it, and I did get to ride behind it before it went, so that was quite nice, I suppose. But anyway, I don't think there's too much else in the box. We'll try and look at some of the stuff quickly before we actually open it up. So they are DCC ready with 21 pin sockets on board. So obviously these are the very latest touring HSTs from Hornby. So overall we should hopefully have a very nice model inside. One thing I'm going to be wary of though is those fans, because if you haven't seen my previous videos on these new toured HSTs from Hornby, the fan mechanisms in these, yeah, could be better. If you're not familiar with them, the lubricant that Hornby have used in those Hopefully they've changed it since then, but yeah, the lubricants that Hornby originally used on these fan mechanisms, yeah, wasn't great. Caused them to seize up and everything and not actually work properly. So we'll see later if hopefully these fans work better, with hoping they've got a better lubricant in there. But if not, then we'll end up seeing that, and we'll have to end up dealing with it at some points. But yeah, I don't think there's too much else on the box apart from that. So we can see on the back there some more information about the HST in real life, and I think there's also some, as usual at the end here, about these particular power cars. We can see a bit there about who still operates them. Obviously GWR and ScotRail still using them at the moment, so in their short form formations. But I think apart from that, there isn't too much else on here. I think the actual information about these power cars is probably more there, as you can see there. So models 184 in post-March 2023 condition, with its Lera diesel depot nameplates and Intercity executive colours, and 43366, a HT40 in cross-country livery. This pair of power cars operated until the end and were popular with line-side photographers across the country. Yeah, they certainly were. The Intercity executive, for me personally, I think it's one of my personal favourites. I think it's just such a beautiful livery. Really, really do like it. So it's nice to actually have a power car actually in this livery, because obviously, apart from this one, there isn't much, well, there isn't really any more choice, I think, for certainly modelling today. Obviously, if you want one of these, any other case, really, it have to be after a normal executive pack that you would run sort of an 80s loud or something. But yeah, we won't go into much into that. There's not very much else I think we can do now really than actually open the box and actually have a look inside. So packaging wise, well, it's basically as you'd expect, typical Hornby packaging for the HST. So we'll slide that off, and then we've got the big polystyrene tray and the big sheet of card on top. Now I have already actually opened this, but I've not actually had a proper look at the power cards yet, so I haven't actually taken them out. So if we just flip that over and move them back a bit. Now one thing you'll notice here is that there's no sort of limited edition certificates here, because that seems to be a bit of a hit and miss thing with these. Some people have had certificates with them, sort of showing which limited edition number they've got and everything, but then others, like me, there's been no certificate at all. It does seem that in some cases the certificate has sort of been a full separate thing that's been like packaged separately. So whether I did have mine and it was just the way where it was packed, I didn't notice or something. But yeah, the certificates do seem to be a hit and miss with these. Some have them, some don't. So God knows which particular set I have, but I suppose it doesn't matter too much. At least we've got the train, haven't we? But anyway, very quickly we'll have a look at the instructions. So we can see here, so class 43 HST diesel electric locomotive, ready and DCC fitted. So you can see that all the usual stuff on the front. So we'll have a quick through these, just in case you're not familiar with them. So we can see there, so lubrication, it talks about lubricating the axles, and obviously you would do the sort of gears inside as well. The various accessories, so obviously you can get these sort of dummy knuckle couplers that go on the back. If you've got the buffered versions, then you'll get some accessories for the front as well. Body removal, it's just 4 screws, and the body, you lift the back of the body off a bit, then slide it forward to sort of slide it off the actual front of around the nose there, and then it should just lift off. Obviously we do have wires inside holding sort of connecting stuff to the chassis, but I believe it does all use plugs, so you should be able to fully disconnect everything if you need to. Location of the DCC socket, and that'd be useful because also when we'll end up shipping these in the future. I could have gone for a sound fitted version, but at the time I wasn't overly sort of fussed about it. Maybe I do regret it a little bit now. Maybe it would have been nicer to go for a sound fitted version, but either way I've still got one, so better than nothing. Dakota driving tips, I think that probably just talks about some CVs and all sort of bits like that. Yeah. So speakers, yeah, we do get a pair of factory fitted Sugar Cube speakers in each power car. So in each power car at the back, obviously on there on 184 and around here on 366, there is a pair of Sugar Cube speakers factory fitted for sound. As far from what I've seen though, they're not great, but then that's to be expected. Most of the time the factory setup for sound on models isn't always great. You do tend to want to upgrade the speaker yourself, but at least we've got factory fitted speakers, so it's better than nothing. The working fans, so that's the sort of variable resistor tool on the circuit board that you just use a screwdriver and you can then set how fast you want the fans to spin. That's quite good. Word of warning though, if you do have fans that are jamming up and they're not working as they should do, don't turn it up too high, because if you've got a decoder in there, it could burn out the decoder, because I nearly ended up doing that on a pair of my old ones before I ended up re-lubricating them. And then last thing here, that talks about all the various lighting functions that we have on these. We've got day and nighttime running lights, cab lights, functions for the working fans as well. And that's it, I believe. Don't think there's much else on there. Yeah, that's it. So put those to one side. Nearly 10 minutes in, we still haven't even got the thing out of the box. Typical me. So I suppose we've got to start with 184, haven't we? Just look at that. Look at that livery. I think it's just beautiful. So let's very, very gently try and lift her out, because she weighs an absolute ton. Oh God, look at that. We'll have a quick look at her in a second, because I've just noticed we've got the I haven't actually looked at the accessories yet. We'll put that to paper to one side. Let's just put the power car down for the moment. So we've got some accessories over here. If we can actually get them out. Come on, are you going to come out? Or are you going to fight me? No, you're not going to play ball, are you? Come on. Nearly there. There we go. Got there in the end. So what we've got here. Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, basically as you'd expect, we can see we've got the dummy sort of knuckle couplers there if you want to put those on the back. And then we've got some extra nameplates there for both power cars. So we can see the ones on the front there for 184, they're a diesel depot. And then just behind it, don't know if we'll be able to separate them out or not. But hopefully you can sort of see behind there. And we have also got power car nameplates for the other power car as well. So that's good. I'll fit those at some point. I'll put them back in the box now for safekeeping, just so we don't lose them. And then for now, we'll put that to one side and we can have a look at the first power car. So let's bring her to shot. Here we go. And there we are. Just look at that. Absolutely beautiful. As I've already said, I absolutely love this livery. It really is great. I'm not too sure if the in-city 125 branding there is a bit too high. I don't know if that's just me, or it looks a bit higher than it should be. It could have been how this particular power car was done. I think normally it was probably a little bit lower down. I might have to check some of my photos to see if that was actually right or not. But either way, it's still been done very well. It's all been printed quite nicely. You've got the nameplate there. Obviously that's just a printed one, but it's been done very, very well. You can see all the detail in there and everything. That's beautiful. You've got all the other colours there as well. You've got the yellow, the white, all perfectly applied. There's no blemishes anywhere. There's perfect transitions between the colours. Got the bogies as well, which turn nicely, so that's good. So there's no wires snagging there or anything. So you can see some of the painted detail on there as well. Got the fuel tank there at the bottom and all the details on there. You can see the gauges there, all more painted detail. You've got the usual actual grills on the side there. I don't think they're metal on these, but they are actual proper grills that you can see through. Not that you can actually see through on the motor unit, because obviously there's the big chassis block behind there. But on the dummy car, when we get that out at the moment, you'll be able to see that we can see right through it. You've got the other end as well, you can see there, so you can see the actual number there, 43184. And there's some more printed detail next to it. You can actually see in the back of the power car there you can see straight through it. You can just about see the speakers there as well. That's the little sort of circuit board, and the speakers are below it. And then you've got a pair of wires that come off, and then they go to the circuit board and connect on to the relevant pads on the circuit board. Let's have a look at the back, so we can see there. Again, you've got the warning signs. You've got more details. The couplings as well, they are the kinematic style couplings, and I certainly haven't had any issues with these at all. They've worked very well so far, which is good. One thing we haven't actually got though, that I've just noticed, we've got no sort of options for other couplings. We haven't got any magnetic couplings or anything, which is a little bit of a shame. It would be nice to have, at the very least, a pair of the magnetic couplings that Hornby now do with the Mark IIIs and everything. When you buy those, you get a little detail bag, and you'll have a set of magnetic couplings in there, and then some of the actual fixed bar couplings in there as well, but still have like the bucket detail on them and everything. But it's a shame that we don't have that with the power cars. It'd just be a little nice extra feature and give a bit more, a few more options for the modeler. Because I certainly will be using them on this set, because I think it does look a lot better. But yeah, it's a shame we don't have them from the factory, but again, it could be worse. On the roof, let's have a look at that. You can see there all of the details that are picked out. You can see the exhaust, all of the riveting detail around there. You can see all of the sort of cream coloured detail to the top of the roof as well. You've got the fans there, which will spin, and we'll get to see those later. And again, hopefully they'll work properly. If they do end up spinning slowly or end up spinning inconsistently, then I'll know that the lubricant is still not fit for purpose, and I'll have to end up stripping those down and re-lubricating them. Really don't want to do that, but if I have to, then I will. And well, certainly the quality score of the model will reflect that issue. But yeah, again, hopefully you don't have that. The cab, see if we can see in there. You can see inside there just about. We have got sort of the usual detail inside there that Hornby have always done with these, which is pretty good. You can see some of the controls in there. They've all been painted. You've got the seats as well, so you can paint them so you can fit a crew if you want to. You could paint them if you want to, I suppose, if you wanted to add some more detail to them, but you shouldn't really need to. It's not too bad. Obviously, the lights are going to light up, and again, we'll get to see those later. You can see the number on the front of the power car there as well. That's the actual set number. You've got the separately fitted wiper on the front of the windscreen as well. Separately fitted handrails down by the side of the cab doors. The doors don't open, which is a bit of a shame, but I suppose it could be worse. It's a bit of a pointless feature, but I think certainly with how much these cost, it would be nice to have them. And obviously they did used to have them pretty much straight up until Hornby retooled them. They always had opening doors, but they got rid of it, which is a bit of a shame. It's not really good downgrading a model but increasing the price, certainly in my opinion. Others may disagree, but that's just me. But yeah, it still looks pretty good though. It's all been very nicely moulded and nicely painted though, so it's not too bad, I suppose. But yeah, I just can't get over how beautiful she is. Really, really is an excellent model. Probably one of the nicest HSTs I think Hornby have done. It really is great. Yeah, absolutely amazing. I just can't stop smiling. It's just a beautiful model. It really, really is. So we'll put it to one side for the moment. Let's get her out of shot. And then we can pick it up. There we go. Just quickly bring the box back into shot, and we'll quickly grab the other power car. There we go. So we've got the dummy car here. Obviously a lot lighter because there's no motor or anything inside, and no big metal chassis block. So again, we'll take the paper off, and then we can push that back over and again, get it out of the way. There we are. Let's just spin her around. And there we are. So there's the dummy car for 366 in the actual cross-country livery. And yeah, just as good as on 184. A beautiful livery, all nicely applied. And also, I suppose this livery is a bit more complex, maybe compared to the other one. I could be wrong. If let's just hold them in. I think we've got to hold them together quickly. There we go. Yeah, I'm not really too sure which side would be more complex. I still think maybe the cross-country one is a bit more complex, especially around on the fronts here with the branding and everything. But even still, they're certainly both not simple liveries, are they? They're both certainly complex. But I would say maybe the cross-country one is a little bit more complex than this one. But yeah, that is beautiful. But again, we'll put her for a shot for a moment so we can have a look at 366 on its own. So yeah, as I said, beautiful livery application, and the finish as well. You've got a beautiful sort of sheen when the model catches the light as well. And that's really, really nice. Some people have said they're not overly sure how well this power car will actually match the sliding door Mark IIIs. We'll obviously see that later when we put them on. Once we've run these in and everything, I'll get them hooked up to the full rake of sliding door Mark IIIs that I've got for them. We'll see how well the colours match. Yeah, as I said, other people have said they're not too sure if the I think the power car matches or not. But even still, the livery's still been done very well. All been nicely applied. Again, you've got the usual warning signs and everything around the back there. Again, another kinematic coupling, and again, it does seem to have a nice motion to it, so that's good. Again, you've got the bogies. Obviously, all-wheel pickup on both models, and all-wheel drive on the motor unit. The roof, again, let's have a look at that. So you can see there, again, all of the detail around the exhaust, all the riveting. Again, you've got these sort of cream colours where they need to be. Again, you've got the fans, and and we'll see those working later, just as the same on the motor unit. You've got the usual details around the cab again as well. You've got the handrails, the wiper. Again, we'll get to see the lights working as well, and hopefully they'll have a nice temperature to them, and they'll be nice and bright as well. The cab detail is just as good as on the other power car. Again, you can see all of the painted details in there, the controls. Got the seats, you've got the doors, just like on the other one. Again, they don't open, but it's just like on the other model. Still very nicely painted and all nicely moulded. The underframe is just as good as well. You've got all the usual sort of painted details. You can see all of the molded detail there as well. You've got the detail on the wheels and all the brake disc detail. Yeah, it's just amazing. The Hornby HST is definitely, I think, probably one of the nicest models that they do. As expensive as they are, and obviously they are very expensive these days, it still is a beautiful model. It really, really is very, very nice. I still think it maybe would be nice to see another manufacturer have a go at it, 00 scale. But even as it is, the Hornby one is still very, very nice. It still has its place. It's still absolutely beautiful. But I suppose one thing is, it's all good, a model looking this nice and really, really looking like a piece of art. But it's also got to run beautifully as well. Again, especially with how much these cost, the performance really has got to be spot on. So I think with that, we need to stop rambling on. Let's get them up to the layout, get them on the track, and see how they run. Okay, so here we are, back up on the layout once again, back on the inner loop today. So let's just grab the dummy car first, and let's get her on. Shouldn't be too hard. Yeah, there we are, nice and easy. And it doesn't seem too bad. Obviously you can hear the pickups rubbing, but apart from that, still relatively freewheeling, so that'll be fine. Well, then again, these Hornby HSTs, they do weigh a ton, and they are very, very strong, so I'm not expecting to see any issues at all with this. Now, before we put the motor units on, actually, I'm just going to apply some power with just the dummy units on. I'm going to see how well those fans actually work, because I think that's one of the main things I'm interested to see, is actually see if the fan mechanisms now do work properly. Obviously, it's not absolutely perfect right now, then that's fair enough, because obviously this mechanism still needs running in, the motor that powers the fans. Obviously that still needs running in, and the mechanism needs lubricating and everything. But let's see how they are at the moment. So let's apply some power and see if they actually work. Oh yeah, that kicked in quite low actually. Not dreadfully convincing though. That's full power at the moment. And yeah, a bit slow, shall we say. Yeah, that's not giving me too much hope at the moment. I doubt the other direction is going to make much difference. Nope. Yeah, that's not overly convincing at the moment. It could just be that the fan speed inside with the sort of variable resistor tool that we saw earlier in the instructions, it could just be that that's set really low, and that's why they're spinning this slow. But even then, from past experience, even at the lowest setting, these can still spin quite fast. So yeah, I'm not overly sure at the moment on that. Hopefully running in will improve that, but if they are still very slow after running in, then I probably will do a little bit of investigation and just see if the lubricant inside is still not fit for purpose, just as on the older models. But yeah, we'll leave it for now. Hopefully that will improve. Let's push her out of the way, and then we can get the dummy unit on. Get the motor unit on. Obviously a lot heavier. Let's get all those wheels on. There we are. And let's couple them together. Should be nice and easy. There we are. So there we go. That's both power cars ready to go. Let's give them a wiggle and see what they're like at the moment. I can't remember which direction we're going in, but we shall see. Yeah, that's not too bad. And the lights actually look really, really good. Let's try the other direction. Yeah, that's not too bad. Certainly, despite she's not run in yet, that's not too bad actually. Obviously, I have to ignore the flickering on the camera. They are, I promise that's just how the camera picks them up. The lights are perfectly stable. This is how the camera picks them up. But yeah, they are working very fine, and they are nice and bright as well actually, so that's not too bad. But as I've noticed, actually, I don't know if you've noticed as well, but just like on the demo units, the fans on 184 are also spinning very, very slowly, even with quite a bit of power. So, hope you can see there. In fact, even at half power, they're barely even turning. So yeah, yeah, I haven't got a lot of hope on the fan mechanisms in these power cars at the moment. But again, they're still running in. They're still very cold. They still needs warming up, and all that lubricant that's been factory applied all needs distributing around the mechanism. So let's get them running in, get them warmed up, then we'll come back and we'll see what they're like then. Okay, so there we are. So I've got them going just above 50% actually. It's probably about 55 on the controller. That's good. I think 50%. So it did seem a little bit too slow for these at the moment. As they run in, they should speed up a bit though, and hopefully that will mean that I can slow them down a bit more. Yeah, even though she's only done a few laps so far, that's not too bad. The fans do seem to be speeding up a tiny bit, but overall there's not much difference to them at the moment. Yeah, absolutely beautiful so far. Not too much to complain about. Okay, so there we are. Both power cars are now nicely running. They've had a good sort of half an hour in each direction, and overall, yeah, I really can't complain about the performance. Running very, very well, very smooth, very consistent. Basically, as you'd expect a premium model to run. However, unfortunately, yeah, those fans are still not right. They have improved slightly during running in. However, they are still way too slow. Still spinning far too slowly. Compared to what they should be, and also being a little bit inconsistent as well. You do notice a little jump every now and then. So yeah, as I suspected, Hornby still seem to be using that same crappy lubricant that they used in their previous HST models in the fan mechanism. I don't get this. I did tell Hornby about this when I originally discovered this issue on some of their previous releases, obviously with this lubricant. I let them know about it. I contacted them, emailed them letting them know, and they said they would pass the feedback on. Yet it seems that feedback hasn't fully got through. Obviously, you never know, this could have been a different factory that did these, and obviously Hornby may have not told them about it. Obviously I don't know, but yeah, it is a shame that we've still got this issue. So at some point later, I am going to have to take those fan mechanisms apart, clean them out and re-lubricate them. It's going to be a little bit annoying, but well, for me it'll be fine. I know what I'm doing, I know how to do this, but other people may not. Other people that have got these, or even, well, any HST model really, of the latest tooling can have this. They may not have the confidence to take the bodies off or take the fan mechanisms apart and clean them out and everything. Yeah, it really is a shame. It just ruins the model really. I wouldn't say an awful lot, but it still is a shame that we've got a model like this that's this beautiful, runs this well, and yet we've got features like this that don't work properly. Yeah, that is a shame really. It's definitely going to have to be marked down for that. However, apart from that issue, everything else about the model seems to be fine. As I've said, she's running very, very well, running very consistently, very smoothly. So I suppose that's one thing that we can take away from this. Yeah, she is running very well, which is good. So I think now that she's all run in and, well, for the most part, she's working very well, I think we need to separate those two power cars, put some coaches between them, yeah, get the full sliding door set on and really see what this set is like. So I'll quickly split them, I'll put the coaches on, I might even take off the, I'll probably remove the tension lock couplings as well, and I'll put some of the magnetic ones on, or some of the bar ones, whatever I've got spare. So we can have everything nicely closely coupled together. It all look nice and realistic, and yeah, hopefully then with the full set running, that'll look absolutely brilliant. So I'll go away, I'll go do that, we'll come back and we'll get the full length set running. Okay, so there we are. We've got the full set of coaches on now between the two power cars. All of the coaches are coupled together with the magnetic couplings, but unfortunately I didn't actually have enough left over when I originally did them to then use magnetic couplings between the coaches and a set of power cars whenever I end up getting around to getting some. So each power car is coupled to the coaches using one of the bar couplings. So the coupling that we've got here is one of the bar couplings, and it's the same between the TGS and the dummy car. If you're not familiar with the bar couplings, this is what they look like. If I just hold them up to the camera for you, and hopefully it focuses, there we are. So you can see there, it's a fixed coupling. You can see there in the middle, we've got the actual sort of bar coupler, sort of knuckle coupler sort of detail there in the middle, and then either side you've got the usual sort of NEM pockets clips each side. So all you need to do is just fit the coupling to either NEM pocket on either the coach or the power car, whatever you're trying to couple. That you can either do it but lay them both upside down and do it that way, or if you're nice and careful, you can do it on the track if you want to. Obviously, don't force it. Don't try and be too hard, because the last thing you want to do is obviously snap either of the NEM pockets off. So if you're going to use these bar couplings, let's say for a full-length train, obviously I would recommend probably doing it to a set, so that once you've done it, it's then going to be basically left on the track almost forever, almost essentially. But if you're going to be doing something like me, where this sets will probably be on and off the rails quite a bit, then you'll probably want to use a solution that's a bit easier. For this, it'll certainly be fine. Also, for me personally, I wouldn't use these couplings, the bar ones anyway, for the full rake, because that would take a while. But yeah, either way, it's all done, it's all on, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we should all be fine. These Mark IIIs, I think one or two of them, the kinematics were a little bit sticky sometimes, but I think for the most part they were alright, so I guess we'll find out in a moment. But I think all that's left to do is to apply some power and get it going. I think I need to flick the direction, because I think we're still going the other way. So hopefully now, we give some power, we'll be going forwards, and we can see what the full set is like. There we go. We'll go about 55, 60. There we go. Okay, you'll notice here that both power cars have swapped round, so we've now got the dummy leading and the motor units at the back there. That's not a fault with the models, by the way, that's just these these coaches from Hornby. Yeah, these don't really like being pulled for whatever reason, but when the motor units is pushing them and pushing them all together, and they seem to be absolutely fine. But before, the last shots that you saw where we first got them going, and with the motor unit leading, yeah, that was the only shots that I could get where something didn't derail, because almost every shot I tried to get after that, I would constantly get a derailment somewhere. So yeah, I swapped the power cars around and we seem to be okay now. But yeah, I think the kinematics on these aren't the best, so yeah, probably going to have the motor units pushing them for the time being, but it could be worse. They could not work at all, so yeah, better than nothing, I suppose. Yeah, either way, still absolutely beautiful, as we can see. Once you get the coaches going in the direction that they're happy with, the entire set seems to be okay. Well, overall, I don't really know what to say. An absolutely amazing set, it really is. Unfortunately, it does still have the usual little Hornby niggles here and there. I suppose mainly it's just those fans for the most part. But apart from that, everything else about this set is just amazing. They look absolutely stunning. They run absolutely beautifully when they've got a set of coaches that actually likes running. But yeah, absolutely fantastic. Really couldn't have asked much better, I think, with these, to be honest. So now let's do some ratings for the Key Publishing exclusive cross-country HST from Hornby. So the diesel on these models, overall, as is usual from Hornby with these HSTs, it's got to be 10 out of 10. A beautiful pair of power cars, very well presented, with a beautiful livery application, loads of various separately fitted and moulded details all over the place as well. Really just a tremendous model in every single way where the detail is concerned. Hornby pretty much always do these HSTs very well, where the detail and the livery is concerned. And yeah, I certainly cannot fault it. So this is a beautiful example of that. Definitely 10 out of 10 there. The performance as well on these models, again, it's got to be 10 out of 10. These HSTs from Hornby always run very well, certainly from my experience. Very smooth, very consistent, a beautiful range of speed as well. really absolutely top-notch performance. Really can't ask much better in my opinion here. The quality though, unfortunately, is where this model does fall down slightly, and as you'd expect, as you've already probably know what I'm going to say, it is with those fans. Quality elsewhere, everywhere else, is pretty much very good. Again, you've got the livery, which is very well applied. The model is very well built. It feels very sturdy in the hands. So you do have the odd detail here and there, which might feel a tiny bit flimsy. But then again, it is a premium model, so you are going to have fragile details here and there. But overall, the model is very well built, and it certainly does feel very sturdy for the most part. I can't feel anything that feels like it's going to fall off. It is very good for the most part there. But yeah, it is those fans that do just let the quality down ever so slightly. The fact that they don't work properly is a real shame, especially for this price as well. It's not really acceptable, given that it's a very simple fix as well. It's a very simple issue with that lubricant. But apart from that, apart from the fans being a bit dodgy, quality elsewhere, as I've said, overall very good. I think 9 out of 10 is quite suitable for these. The value for money then, this was a little bit of a difficult one for me. So I do think that even as they are, probably I suppose even if the fans were 100% as well, I still think maybe price-wise it maybe is a little bit much for these, given that's probably another manufacturer probably would make them a little bit cheaper. But then again, they are an exclusive of these particular power cars, so I suppose I've got to give it a little bit of leniency there. But overall, the value for money, it certainly isn't terrible with these, and you still do get a very beautiful pair of power cars. The value for money is let down slightly here, again with those fans not working properly. That has marked it down slightly. I think if the fans were worked absolutely fine, this probably would be close to an 8 more, or maybe ever so slightly a 9. But overall value for money, certainly not great, I think here, given the minor issues that we've seen. But overall, it's certainly not terrible. I think the price still is very good, and given that with these being exclusive, even at the time they were still slightly cheaper than a standard release HST from Hornby. Still not too bad, I think. I think they still did quite well on the price there. So that's an overall score of 9 out of 10. I think very well deserving. They are a beautiful pair of power cars. It is a very beautiful pack overall. Obviously, it does have its minor little niggles here and there, but overall, a very good set nonetheless.